They looked at you and decided your limits without ever asking your story. They measured your worth using their own fears, their own disappointments, their own unfinished dreams. They smiled politely, maybe even lovingly, but behind those smiles lived doubt. Doubt in your ability to rise, to heal, to love deeply, to become more than the version of you that made them comfortable. And when you felt that doubt, when it settled quietly in your chest, it hurt more because it came from people you cared about, from people whose approval once mattered more than your own breathing, from people who said they loved you yet never believed you could grow beyond their expectations. And proving everyone wrong is not about revenge. It is about reclaiming yourself from the cages built by other people's opinions. It is about standing in the middle of your pain and saying, I will not die here. It is about understanding that your past mistakes do not disqualify you from a powerful future, especially in love, especially in relationships, where wounds are deepest and scars are most visible. You were told you were too much or not enough, too emotional, too sensitive, too ambitious, too quiet, or not loving enough, not loyal enough, not strong enough to hold a relationship together. Those words followed you into your silence, into your prayers, into the nights when you questioned your own value. But here's the truth they never told you. The very traits they criticized are the same traits that will one day save you. Your sensitivity is not weakness, it is depth. Your emotional heart is not a burden, it is a gift. Your desire to love fully, even after being hurt, is not foolishness, it is courage. You were never broken, you were becoming. And in relationships, people often try to define you by your worst moments. They remember the arguments, but forget your sacrifices. They remember the tears, but forget your patience. They remember the ending, but ignore how hard you tried to make it work. And when it ends, they walk away believing you will never recover. They believe you will always beg for love, always settle for less, always return to the same pain. Proving them wrong means choosing yourself when it would be easier to chase validation. It means healing in silence when they expect you to fall apart publicly, and there will be days when proving everyone wrong feels impossible. Days when loneliness feels heavier than confidence. Days when you miss the people who doubted you simply because they were familiar. On those days, remember this: growth is lonely before it is admired. Healing is quiet before it is respected. The strongest transformations happen when no one is clapping for you, when no one believes in you, when you are forced to become your own witness. And you are not required to explain your journey to anyone who refused to walk with you. You do not owe access to your healing to people who only knew how to criticize your pain. Let them watch from a distance as you rebuild your heart. Let them be confused by your strength. Let them wonder how you became so grounded, so peaceful, so sure of yourself. That confusion is evidence of your progress. And in love, proving everyone wrong means learning to love without losing yourself. It means no longer shrinking to keep someone comfortable. It means setting boundaries even when your heart wants to hold on. It means choosing partners who see your worth without needing to be convinced. And most importantly, it means becoming the kind of person who no longer needs external approval to feel whole. And you will outgrow people. Some will say you changed, not realizing that growth always looks like betrayal to those who benefit from your silence. Do not apologize for becoming healthier. Do not feel guilty for choosing peace over chaos. The version of you that tolerated disrespect was not more loving. They were just more afraid of being alone. And one day, you will look back at the moment. Tears that nearly broke you and realize they were the moments that built you. The nights you cried alone taught you self-reliance. The heartbreak taught you discernment. The rejection taught you self-worth. And the doubt from others taught you how to believe in yourself when no one else would. And proving everyone wrong does not require loud success or public announcements. Sometimes the greatest is quiet confidence, a healed heart, a stable mind, a relationship with yourself that no one can shake. Let them remember the old you while you live as the new you. Let their expectations remain small while your life expands beyond their imagination. And you are not here to live up to anyone else's definition of success, love, or happiness. You are here to become whole. And when you do, you stand firmly in your truth, loving deeply without fear, choosing wisely without guilt, and walking away from what no longer honors you, the world will see what they once doubted. And the most powerful moment will not be when they finally admit they were wrong. It will be when their opinion no longer matters to you at all. And because by then, something inside you will have shifted so deeply that external voices will sound distant, almost irrelevant. You will still hear them, but they will no longer have the power to rearrange your self-worth. You will no longer measure your value by how much someone chooses you, stays with you, or understands you. You will understand that love is not proven through endurance of pain, and loyalty is not proven through self-betrayal. You will finally see that the relationship you were always fighting for was the one with yourself. And there was a time when you begged for clarity, for reassurance, for effort. A time when you replayed conversations in your mind, wondering how you could have spoken differently, loved better, been easier to keep. You thought if you adjusted yourself just enough, someone would finally see you, finally choose you without hesitation. But the truth is, people who are committed to misunderstanding you will never recognize your growth, no matter how brightly you shine. And proving everyone wrong begins when you stop auditioning for love and start honoring your own emotional truth. And you survived moments that could have hardened your heart, yet you chose softness. You endured abandonment that could have made you bitter, yet you chose empathy. That choice alone speaks volumes about your strength. It is easy to close off, to build walls, to pretend nothing hurts. It takes extraordinary courage to remain open after being disappointed by those you trusted most. And one day, you will realize that your ability to love deeply was never the problem. The problem was giving that love to people who could not hold it with care. And there will come a moment when you recognize the difference between connection and attachment. Attachment is driven by fear of loss. Connection is rooted in mutual respect and emotional safety. When you understand this, your standards will rise naturally, not because you think you are better than anyone else, but because you finally understand your own worth. You will no longer chase mixed signals or inconsistent affection. You will no longer explain your needs to someone who keeps ignoring them. This is how you prove everyone wrong, by no longer participating in cycles that diminish you. And you were told that your expectations were too high, that you wanted too much, that love requires compromise. And yes, love does require compromise, but never at the cost of your dignity, never at the cost of your emotional health, never at the cost of your identity. You were not asking for too much, you were asking the wrong people. And when you begin to choose differently, people will call you selfish, cold, or distant. What they will really be reacting to is your boundaries, and healing will not erase the past, but it will change how the past lives inside you. The memories that once triggered tears will slowly lose their grip. The words that once echoed in your mind will fade, not because they were insignificant, but because you grew stronger. You will stop seeking closure from those who could never give it. You will create your own closure by choosing peace, by choosing to move forward without answers, by choosing to believe that some endings were protection. And in relationships, proving everyone wrong means learning to trust yourself again. Trusting your intuition when something feels off. Trusting your voice when it asks for honesty. Trusting your heart when it says, this does not feel safe anymore. You ignored yourself before because you were afraid of losing someone. Now you will listen to yourself because you are no longer willing to lose you. And there is a quiet power in emotional maturity. It does not announce itself. It does not argue, defend, or explain endlessly. It observes. It chooses. It walks away when necessary. When you reach this place, you will notice how differently you respond to conflict. You will no longer need to win arguments to feel validated. You will no longer need to prove your pain for it to be real. You will understand hat being understood by everyone is not the goal. Being at peace with yourself is. And people who once underestimated you will be surprised by your composure. They will expect emotional reactions and receive calm distance. They will expect you to fall back into old patterns and watch you choose differently. They will expect you to settle and see you stand firm. And while they may never say it out loud, they will feel it, the shift, the growth, the strength they never thought you had. And your story does not end where someone walked away. Your value does not decrease because someone failed to see it. Love did not defeat you, it refined you. Pain did not break you, it revealed you. Every tear you cried watered the roots of the person you are becoming. And that person no longer needs to prove anything through suffering. And one day you will love again, but it will be different. It will be calmer, safer, more intentional. You will no longer confuse intensity with intimacy. You will no longer chase potential while ignoring reality. You will recognize effort without begging for it. And when love comes, it will meet you at your level, not pull you back into old wounds. And until then, our focus will be on building a life that feels good from the inside. A life where your happiness does not depend on being chosen. A life where your emotional needs are honored. A life where you wake up proud of the person you are becoming. This is not isolation, this is alignment. And proving everyone wrong is a long journey, not a single moment. It is choosing growth when comfort tempts you to stay the same. It is choosing self-respect when loneliness tries to bargain with you. It is choosing healing even when the wounds feel familiar. And every time you make that choice, you step further into your power. And you were never meant to be understood by those who refuse to heal themselves. You were never meant to shrink to fit someone else's capacity. You were meant to rise, to evolve, to evolve from a place of wholeness rather than fear. And as you continue forward, grounded in truth, anchored in self-worth, and guided by emotional wisdom, the life you build will speak louder than any explanation you could ever give. And there will be moments when the silence feels unfamiliar, almost uncomfortable, because chaos once felt like home. You may catch yourself missing the intensity, the you, and certainty, the emotional highs and lows that once convinced you it was love. But growth will teach you that peace can feel strange when you were conditioned to survive storms. This is where proving everyone wrong becomes deeply personal. You resist the urge to return to what is familiar but unhealthy. You choose stability even when your nervous system craves drama. You retrain your heart to rest instead of brace. And you will start to notice how differently you carry yourself. Your shoulders will feel lighter, your breathing deeper. You will no longer rush to respond, no longer feel the need to defend your character, no longer explain your intentions to those committed to misunderstanding you. This is not indifference, this is emotional clarity. You finally understand that your energy is sacred and not everyone deserves access to it. And some people will try to pull you back into old versions of yourself. They will remind you of who you used to be, hoping you will forget who you are becoming. They will say you have changed as if it is an accusation. Let them. Change is evidence of life. Growth is proof that pain did not have the final word. You are no longer the person who tolerated emotional neglect just to keep a connection alive. You are no longer the person who confused love with endurance. You are someone who understands that real love does not require self-abandonment. And in relationships, you will stop romanticizing potential and start honoring patterns. You will listen not only to words, but to consistency. You will stop falling in love with apologies and start paying attention to behavior. This shift alone will protect you from repeating old cycles. You will realize that promises mean nothing without action, and chemistry means nothing without respect. This is how you prove everyone wrong, by breaking patterns that once defined you. And there will be grief in this process. Not just grief for people you lost, but grief for the version of you who did not care. Now better, you may mourn the time you spent trying to fix what was never yours to fix. Allow that grief. It does not mean you failed, it means you are human. Healing does not erase regret, but it transforms it into wisdom. And wisdom becomes the foundation of better choices. And you will also grieve the illusion of what you hoped relationships would become. The future you imagined with someone could not meet you where you stood. Letting go of that imagined future can hurt more than losing the person themselves. But releasing fantasies creates space for reality. A reality where love feels safe, mutual, and nourishing. And as you grow, you will become more selective. Not because you fear connection, but because you value it. You will stop giving unlimited access to people who show limited care. You will stop explaining your boundaries to those who repeatedly cross them. You will understand that boundaries are not walls, they are doors with locks, and you decide who gets the key. And your emotional intelligence will deepen. You will learn to respond instead of react. You will learn to pause before speaking, not to suppress your truth, but to express it with intention. You will recognize when to engage and when to walk away. This restraint is not weakness, it is mastery. And people may mistake your calm for coldness. They may assume your distance means you do not care. What they will not see is how much work it took to get here. How many nights you spent healing wounds no one apologized for. How many times you chose growth over comfort. Your calm is earned and proving EV. Arione wrong also means redefining success in love. It is no longer about being chosen at all costs. It is about choosing wisely. It is about reciprocity. It is about emotional safety. It is about being able to speak your truth without fear of abandonment. When you stop chasing validation, you become magnetic to healthier connections, and you will begin to trust the timing of your life. You will stop forcing outcomes. You will understand that delays are not denials. Sometimes they are protection. You will see that the relationships that ended were not losses, but lessons that prepared you for something better aligned with who you are now. And there will be moments when loneliness visits you, not because you are alone, but because you have outgrown certain connections. Loneliness in growth, different. It is quieter, reflective, temporary. And instead of filling it with distractions, you will sit with it, listen to it, and learn from it. You will realize that being alone is far less painful than being with someone who makes you feel unseen. And you will also learn to forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for staying too long. Forgive yourself for ignoring red flags. Forgive yourself or loving deeply. None of that made you weak. It made you human. Self-forgiveness is one of the most powerful ways you prove everyone wrong, because it breaks the cycle of shame that once kept you small. And as your relationship with yourself strengthens, everything else shifts. Your standards rise. Your tolerance for disrespect lowers. Your intuition sharpens. You stop seeking intensity and start choosing depth. You stop craving attention and start valuing intention. This internal alignment becomes visible in every area of your life, and people will feel the difference when they interact with you. Some will be inspired. Others will feel threatened, not because you are arrogant, but because you are no longer available for manipulation, guilt, or emotion. Games. You will no longer accept half love, half effort, or half truths, and this will quietly unsettle those who benefited from your former self-doubt. And you will learn that proving everyone wrong is not about proving you are lovable. You always were. It is about proving to yourself that you are worthy of consistency, honesty, and respect. It is about living in a way that honors your emotional needs instead of minimizing them. And your heart will remain open, but it will no longer be unguarded. You will love with awareness. You will give without losing yourself. You will commit without self-sacrifice. And when challenges arise, you will address them with clarity rather than fear. And this journey will not make you perfect. You will still feel. You will still hope. You will still risk. But you will do so from a place of wholeness rather than emptiness. And that difference will change everything. And as you continue forward, rooted in self-trust and emotional integrity, your life will reflect the strength you once doubted you had. Your relationships will mirror the respect you learned to demand. Your peace will speak louder than explanations. And without needing to announce it, without needing validation, you will embody the proof that growth, healing, and self-respect can rewrite any story.